Hello and welcome to On the Bench, the sports discussion show for Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire, right here on Estuary TV. I'm Rob Underwood. Well, after an exciting first sporting weekend of 2014, there's certainly plenty to talk about. Joining me in the studio to do so is none other than Super Hooper Kev Hooper and his new coach, Mick Blythin. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us. Well, coming up this evening, Tom and Stu will be here to answer your questions at A View from the Estuary, and Matt Denson went along to Blundell Park before Christmas to catch up with the Sporting Memories Network at the Grimsby Town versus Kidderminster Harriers tie. Stay tuned for that. But first, let's take a look through the results from our region. Here's Team Talk. Hull City will face a trip to former manager Phil Brown's Southend in round 4 of the FA Cup after the Tigers beat Middlesbrough 2-0 with goals coming from Aaron McLean and Nick Proschwitz. Grimsby put up a brave fight against Championship side Huddersfield Town, leading for most of the game through goals from Ross Hannah and Craig Disley, but eventually coming unstuck by a late strike from Patterson and an own goal from Thomas, the game ending 3-2 to Huddersfield. Well, George Newby, Dave Walsh and Carl Bensley gave Grimsby Borough a fantastic 3-0 away win at Yorkshire Amateur. It also gave Borough their first back-to-back wins since August. Louth Town remain rooted to the bottom of Northern Counties East Division 1 after a 6-0 defeat at the hands of Bottisford. Amongst the goal scorers was former Grimsby Town and Scunthorpe midfielder Terry Barwick, netting a hat-trick. In rugby, Market Raisin and Louth lost 15-10 away at Matlock in the Midlands 1 East. Cleethorpes were awarded a walkover after their opponents Leesbrook failed to put a side together. Grimsby started the new year in style, beating Skegness in a great game at Springfield Road 25-14, and in the same league, Lincoln won their game beating Nottingham Moderns 52-20. And finally, in ice hockey, the Hull Stingrays beat Fife Flyers 5-4 at the Hull Arena just a day after beating Coventry 2-1. Mixed fortunes for our clubs there. Well, let's turn attention now to our studio guests, Kev Hooper and Mick Blythin. Kev, how are things going for you at the moment? Back-to-back defeats? What's the state of play for you?
Well, obviously I've changed trainers now. I've come to Mick. It's a fresh start. Just start working on applying a lot of pressure now, coming forward, working on high fitness levels and obviously strength work now.
How much does that play on your mind, back-to-back defeats, when you're trying to move forward as a fighter?
Obviously it's not good, but it's how we come back really. So I'm just keep focused and obviously keep training hard, and it'll show in the next fight.
How's he doing, Mick?
Yeah, he's doing very well. He's training really hard. His determination actually pays off. It's going to show in his next fight, and we're just trying to do everything we can to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. And that, you know, the difference is last time on a back foot, you're actually doing a lot more countering. Whereas this time we're actually got to take a lot to go forward. So his fitness level's got to be a lot higher, and the strength.
How much of a change is that, where you have a successful fighter and you're trying to address what must be a sort of a technique change?
Yeah, it is. It's totally different for Kev now going forward. Whereas you're waiting for the opponent to come to you and you're just countering. Whereas now, Kev's got to actually just everything he's done. He's going to have to use, if he, God forbid, he gets injured, well, he's got to work off the back foot. So now he's got to go forward and just use his speed and power now to do everything he can to win his fights.
Kev, how different is it trying to gel with a new coach after working so closely with your previous coach? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's obviously about bonding together, like getting used to one another, and like it takes time, and we're getting there. So I'm happy the way things are going.
What else are you working on to try and get back to winning ways?
Obviously, working a lot of strength work for power and obviously fitness, and just on about like hitting harder. Really, that's what I want to do. I want to obviously hit hard and get rack up a few KOs, and obviously keep plodding forward. Really.
So let's talk about the year ahead then. What's next and what's lined up for you?
Next, out in March. Just waiting for a date in March, and obviously get back to winning ways. Obviously, with my new trainer, just get in there and win basically.
And who is your opponent going to be? Do you know?
It's to be announced yet, obviously.
What's involved, Mick, in determining an opponent for Kev?
We don't want anybody that's going to be a pushover, obviously, because it looks bad. You don't want, obviously, journeymen. You want someone who's going to give Kev a test, especially now he's doing things totally different. But the good thing about our training now is they're going to look at old videos of Kev on the back foot, whereas now he's a totally different fighter. So they're going to come unstuck, really, which we hope, with Kev going forward now. So they'll be training towards Kev on the back foot, where it's a different Kev now. You know.
Tell us about your gym, where Kev is primarily doing his training now.
Well, we've been open obviously for a long time, but we've just turned it into a boxing gym just recently, and it's open on a Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday night for boxers of all abilities, and it's from 6:30 till 7:30, and it's just hopefully to get a lot of kids off the street as well. You know, it's just to boost morale up as well. You know, and make them a lot stronger. You know,
good,
positive as well.
Kev, we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
We'll talk some more in a moment or two. Now, we'll keep a close eye on that bout, of course, bring you any updates and ticket information right here on the bench over the next coming weeks. Well, next up, it's time for Tom and Stu to take a roundup of your questions from Twitter. Here they are with a view from the Estuary.
Hello and welcome to this week's View from the Estuary.
Will the FA Cup exit affect Grimsby Town's league season?
You know what, I'm going to say the exact opposite of it's going to affect. I don't think it's going to affect it at all. I think it's actually done them a favour in a way. A great cup would have been great. Obviously, Grimsby
It still is a great cup.
Grimsby winning that, Grimsby winning that cup was, odds are against them obviously. But now they're out of that FA Cup, they can really push on in the league, and they haven't got the fixture list they would have had if they progressed. So they've got less fixtures. Obviously, more fixtures means fatigue. They're not going to have that as much now because that did affect them, I think. Few games before that game. They drew a few, they dropped points. So I think now they can push on in the league, and the potential, they can reach it for the league finish, I think.
Where will Hull have to strengthen this month to secure a Premier League finish?
I don't think they have to strengthen as such. I think a few more squad players who will benefit the team to come in will be alright for them. They're doing well in the league. They're obviously in the next round of the FA Cup as well. They've got Southend, so that's maybe a chance for the fringe players, especially against Southend, to prove their point of a starting place in the Premier League.
Yeah, as we know, they've already got the best home defensive record in the league, so I don't think defence is an issue. I think they're pretty covered there. Midfield, they've got some experience in midfield. If anywhere, I think maybe a striker.
Yeah, one who can get a few goals.
A 15 to 20 goal a season striker would be great. Obviously, other than the 6-0 mauling of Fulham, they're not conceding many, but they're not scoring too many. They're getting 1-0s.
But you look at the 6-0, it was all midfielders near enough who scored.
Yeah, so if they can get a striker doing that week in, week out, they're on to a winner.
What's your thoughts on the Conference League this season?
If you look at the league, I think it's a really good quality league this season. I think there's still, the champion of the league still isn't clear. Could be a number of sides, 3 or 4 sides that could still take that, because there's not a massive gap between them. We've seen bigger gaps recovered from teams. Obviously, the playoffs are probably still wide open. I think Hyde are getting a bit of a hiding at the minute. They've not done too well of late, and I think the manager of Hyde, is it McNiven, might be the next casualty if results, because they've not won in 9. So I think the bottom end of the league.
They haven't won all season as well either. But you also look at the mid-table teams as well. There's a lot of games where Grimsby could have a potential banana skin in losing against the teams lower down, like Hyde at home. If they're already relegated and Grimsby need that to go up and win the league, Hyde are going to have no fear. That's a problem with this league. Once teams lower down play with no fear, that's when the shock results come through. You look at Barnet, they've had a few shocking results this season. Aldershot, they started on -10 points and they're already out the relegation zone as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's the last time I'll be answering your questions as I am leaving the show. Don't forget to keep your questions coming in on Twitter at @AskEstuary.
Thanks to Tom and to Stu. Remember, if you want to send in your questions, tweet at @AskEstuary. And if you want to let us know your opinion about anything from the show tonight, don't hesitate to tweet us at OnTheBenchTV. Well, time to go for a quick break now, but we'll be back shortly. Welcome back to On the Bench, and we're joined in the studio this evening by Super Hooper, Kev Hooper, and his new coach, Mick Blythin. Now, as much as it pains us to discuss it, it has to be said that we've witnessed potentially one of the greatest sporting transformations in history in the Australian cricket team. And most notably, Mitchell Johnson, who only a couple of years ago was the figure of fun for England fans during the Ashes tours of 2009 and 2011, you may recall. Well, Johnson tore the England batting order apart as Australia romped to a whitewash 5-0 victory. Well, Andy Flower has today outlined his intentions to stay with the team. I wonder if you think that's the best choice for England. Mick, first of all, this wasn't just a defeat, was it? It was an annihilation. What must it have done for the team's confidence, do you think?
Well, I think England have rested too long on the laurels, where, because of being number one for so long, they thought, oh, they probably took an easy step and thought, this is going to be easy, you know, whereas they haven't put the training in, so to speak, you know, same as a fight. If you don't train hard, you're going to get beat. You just can't just rely on your last fight to say, I did this, I did that, you know, so I just think that England's taken it too lightly. And that's what's happened, really.
Well, Kev, you know, we were talking about you a short while ago, back-to-back defeats. England soon found themselves in a back-to-back defeat situation early on. How difficult psychologically is it for you to put that behind you and start looking forward?
Yeah, it's obviously you just got to move on, and it's how you come back from defeat, really. As long as they put the work in, they can come back.
And preparing against a fighter, as England did against Australia, when you know they're up for it, they're really up for it, how do you not let that affect your own plan and preparation going into a fight?
You just got to blank it out, because obviously it'll cause problems if you think about it too much. Obviously you just got to put it to the back of your mind and give it your best shot, really.
And what does it do mentally and psychologically to you when you've been beaten not once but twice? Yeah,
obviously it gets you and it gets you down, but it's how you come back from it, really. You just got to keep training hard, really.
Mick, as a coach, you can only do so much, can't you? As soon as your fighter goes into the ring, or in this case, the England cricketers go out there, they're on their own.
Yeah, we have to just keep instilling them in confidence, really, and just saying that you can do this, you know, and just give them the best advice, really. It's like putting the best team out there. You can't just like put a B side out. You've got to put your best side out, and it's all right. Like Kev's got to be in the best shape ever for his fight, no matter what fight it is or how significant it is. He's got to be in the best shape ever to do his job, really. And it's the same as England, really. They've got to be top of the game, you know.
And the fans
absolutely
who've made the journey all the way over there, it's not just like going around the corner, is it?
Yeah.
Are they too quick, do you think? Do you think the fans and supporters are too quick to get on the back of the coach?
They always blame, it's a blame game, everything is a blame game. So it's easy to blame that guy there rather than the heroes.
So who should take the responsibility, do you think?
Well, there's no I in team, is there? So it's the team. You know, it's easy to go, oh, he did this, he did that. You know, it's a case of, well, we should have all backed him up.
Story we'll watch with interest.
Yeah.
Well, next up on the programme, our reporter Matt Denson went along to Blundell Park back in December to speak to Tony Jameson-Allen from the Sporting Memories Network ahead of Grimsby Town's match with Kidderminster Harriers. Take a look at this.
So here we are at Blundell Park on a very cold wintry night in December. We're here for one reason, that's the Sporting Memories match against Kidderminster Harriers, all four Sporting Memories. Grimsby Town Football Club have invited their fans to wear their favourite Grimsby Town football shirt of the past to try and highlight the fact and raise awareness of dementia. Tony, thank you very much for having us here. Please explain what we're doing and a bit more about tonight.
We're here for the Mariners Memories game to celebrate the history of Grimsby Town Football Club. To get the fans sharing memories and to start raising awareness of people living with memory problems and with dementia.
Trying to bring people's memories together of what they're doing at the sporting fans. What have you brought with yourself today?
We've brought a number of memories cards. We've actually got a lot of examples up in the McMahon suite of images of former footballers and sportsmen and women to get fans starting to think about the favourite sporting memories. We're specifically looking at football tonight, but we do work across all sports.
So this expanded into many sports. So what is your favourite sporting memory?
I guess it has to be 1982 FA Cup semi-final at Highbury. I have to confess I'm a QPR fan. And I paid £3 to stand behind the goal on the North Bank at Highbury and saw Clive Allen score the winner to put us through to the cup final.
And it's all been downhill from there, is that right?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much indeed. I've called someone here from the Sport and Education Trust. Now, please introduce yourself and tell me, what are these people doing around here with the buckets?
With the buckets, right, Matt. Yeah, my name's Lee Stevens. The young people with the buckets are all part of the National Citizen Service, which is a scheme that the community arm of the club run. It's a government scheme for 16 and 17-year-olds, basically to encourage young people to do positive things within the community. We had them all on a scheme over the summer. Great kids. So one of the challenges was the Prime Minister's challenge, which was to raise awareness of dementia and the problems with Alzheimer's. So they're here tonight collecting memories for Tony and his organisation. What we're also doing on a local basis, which is where the buckets come in, is they're doing a collection for the Harbour Place Homeless Day Centre, and after the game tonight they're all sleeping out rough in the ground to raise awareness of the plight of homeless people at the Christmas period. So young people getting involved in positive things within the local community.
Well, it's a very cold night and it's just started raining, so fingers crossed it's not going to get too bad for them. Thank you very much indeed.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Favourite memory for me at Grimsby Town was New Year's Day 2011. My son was the mascot and it was one of those days he just couldn't believe. The final score ended in Grimsby Town 7, Mansfield 2. And didn't matter what happened on that day, Grimsby was just going to score goals. They were just a machine on that day. Tremendous memory. You've got many other memories of where Jevon scored the goal, everyone will talk about that. But as a personal memory, 7-2, New Year's Day, doesn't get better than that.
The Sporting Memories Network, a charity that uses sporting memories to help sufferers of dementia by recounting favourite sporting stories from history. Have you any particular memories, guys, from the sporting past that stick in your mind? Mick?
I think mine was getting selected for England with kickboxing many moons ago.
Yes, you've quite a background in kickboxing as well,
Yeah,
haven't you?
yeah, absolutely. So it's not always been boxing. I've been boxing since I was 16, but obviously the main thing was kickboxing because you can't do the two sports. So yeah, it was getting selected for England and going around the world fighting, representing England.
Do you get frustrated now with the background of being very much hands-on and in the ring kickboxing, whereas now you may be just a step removed?
Yeah,
from the coaching role?
I still spar with all the boxers and the kickboxers, so I still get involved. I think you get a better feel for the lads, as in what they can do, and you know, and if they can apply pressure, if they can keep it up, and how fit they are, you know. So. And
Kev, any particular sporting memories as far as
yeah, obviously winning the Midlands area title for myself, really. That was a big achievement for myself.
How difficult is it keeping your feet on the ground when you reach a particular pinnacle such as that, if you like, and then you know you've really just got to carry on. Your career is only just progressing, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to keep your feet on the ground, just keep driving forward, obviously onto bigger, better things.
You're involved in the physical coaching. It's not just physical coaching, is it? There's a mental side to it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a mental coach in Stuart Howe. He does a lot of work with me, and it's a lot beneficial for myself, really.
Well, looking ahead to sporting action coming up this week, a buoyant Grimsby Town will be hoping to bounce back from their FA Cup defeat on Saturday as they welcome Maidenhead United to Blundell Park. And North Ferriby will be travelling down to Sincil Bank for a local tie against Lincoln City in the third round proper of the FA Trophy. Scunthorpe travel over to Mansfield in League Two, and Hull City welcome Chelsea for a mouth-watering clash on Saturday. Well, that's all we've got time for this week. Thanks to Kev Hooper and to Mick Blythin as well. And we wish you all the very best again, Kev, for that fight in March. Thanks to you for watching, of course. In closing, we must say it's a sad farewell on the team to our reporter, Stu Cox. All the best, Stu. Join us again next week for On the Bench. See you then.